Hello, good afternoon, happy Thursday to you. Today is Thursday, March 8th. I just want to make a couple of announcements. We're going to be taking a quiz on the material we're going over today. That quiz is going to be Tuesday, March 13th. And then we've got a big unit test coming up March 28th and 29th, right before spring break. So I just wanted to let you know a couple of things. Hopefully, I know the flu, some illness is going around. I got a little bit myself, but take care of yourselves. And we're going to talk today about composite shapes, including area and perimeter. A couple of skills that, I'll be very honest with you, are very difficult. In my history of teaching this, I've seen they're very difficult. But I believe if you study the material and you go through this video and you go step by step, it doesn't have to be as hard as you think it is. So we're going to do a brief review of area and perimeter. And then we're going to start looking at the composite shapes, because as easy as square and circle are, those aren't on the SOL. It's these composite shapes, but we can't do composite shapes unless we know square, circle, and triangle. So we're going to review rectangle for a little bit, and then we're going to start going right into the composite shapes. So I'm going to jump up to the smartboard, and we're going to begin. All right, so we're going to be working on finding the missing sides of a rectangle in composite shape. So if I just told you, we'll just start here.
Oops, sorry.
If I told you that this was 3 and this was 11, you would know, every one of you would know, that this side down here is also 11. You wouldn't call it 3 because it has nothing to do. This is a horizontal line. Oh. Pardon me, this is a horizontal line, and this is a horizontal line right here. So you know these two are connected. You would also be able to tell me that this right here is 3, because this is a vertical line, and this is a vertical line. Okay, so let's just take it one little baby step further. If I told you that this was 5, and I told you that this was 7, and this was 10, you would be able to tell me, all right, this side over here would be 5. But what about this long side down here at the bottom? Well, if you took this 7 down here, and you took this 10 down here, 7 and 10 is 17. The horizontal line would be 17 total, and if you brought that down, that's 17, okay? And the last thing we're going to review, if I told you the long side down here at the bottom was, we'll say, 20, and I told you that this was 7, would you be able to tell me the missing distance on the top horizontal line right here? I would hope so, because if this is 20, remember this is 20, and this little segment here is 7, this has to be 13. Okay, so we're just finding missing sides and parts of sides. Let's get into the brass tacks of the matter here. Folks, the 3 shapes that we're going to talk about today are massively important. The test makers love to give you shapes like this. First thing that we're going to look at on a shape like this is what is the perimeter of this shape. A common mistake that kids make is they will add all the numbers. That would be wrong. People would say it's 15 plus 11 plus 24 plus 10, and that's 49. That would be 60, and that is wrong. I have missing side lengths here. I have this missing side length, and I have this missing side length. So before you can find the perimeter, you need to find all 6 missing side lengths. Well, if you remember back on that basic rectangle we were just practicing with, the only sides that matter are the sides directly across from each other. So let's start with our vertical lines. I have a 15 here. I have a side length that we don't know here. And then I have a 10 right here. Okay? If I took this 10 across, and I took this side across, you would know that this is 10. What does this have to be so that the total would be 15? And 10 plus 5 equals 15. Now I'm looking at my horizontal lines. And this 11, and I just changed the color to try to hopefully get you to see it a little better. And this is 24. You're looking for this side length down here. Well, if you drag this 11 down, and you drag this 24 down, hopefully you're able to see that x, the length of the longest line down here, is 11 plus 24. That's 35. Okay? Now that you've got your missing side lengths, you can take the perimeter. The perimeter is simply add all the sides. Okay? So I draw this diagonal line right here to make sure that you know where you start counting and where you stop counting from. So I start here, and this is 15 plus 11 plus 5 plus 24 plus 10 plus 35. And when you add all those up, make sure I can go through and do this. 15 plus 11 plus 5 plus 24 plus 10 plus 35 is 100. The perimeter of this shape is 100 units. Words that go with perimeter would be great. The test makers would love to say, how long would a fence need to go around my swimming pool that had these dimensions? Fence is a good word for perimeter. So if you ever see the word fence, remember that's perimeter. So the perimeter is 100 units. Okay? Now area, completely different story. The word area, I want you to think of the word cover. I want you to think of filling something in, filling in. Unfortunately, on your formula sheet that you're going to get on your test, you don't have a shape that looks like this weird, rectangle with this notch up here, okay? So what you want to do is make something that looks familiar. Well, if I broke this shape up into this rectangle and this rectangle, you would be able to see that the formula for area of a rectangle is length times width. This is 11 going across times 5 going up and down. The area is 55. Answer choice A on a test could be 55. Don't take the bait. You're not done yet. Let's look at this green rectangle. A lot of people are going to make the mistake, well, we'll put the formula up, length times width. A lot of people are going to make the mistake and think that this is 24 across. It's not. It is 35 across because I'm taking the longest side down here. It is 35 times 10, not 15. And the area is 350. You might also see that as a trick answer. No. What you need to do is take the grand total. So you would take your 55 and add it to your 350, and you would get 5, 0. It would be 405 units squared. That would be the correct answer you were looking for. I'll give you a second to just soak some of that information in. Take a look at that. Something else is if you wanted to break up your rectangle two different ways, or your composite shape, pardon me, and you wanted to break it up like this, you would be okay. This would be area's length times width, 24 times 10. And the area would be 240. This rectangle,
Dozier family, or not Dozier family, Dozier family. The potatoes are here. Potatoes are here in the media center. Let's eat.
I hope you all see how dedicated I am to this cause. Mr. Santos is giving up the potato so I can get you all this information. This would be 165. And if you added your 165 plus your 240, you would get the same answer. It doesn't matter how you divide your composite shape as long as you recognize that it's two rectangles. Now, my students, we haven't really seen these next two shapes yet, these next two composite shapes, but I need to show them on this video. If you're watching, it's a great sneak preview for things that are coming up next. Oh my goodness, I'm looking at this shape and I'm going, I don't know what this is. There's no shape like this. There's no shape like home plate or a house on my formula sheet. What should I do to find the area of this shape? Break it off into two shapes you do recognize. Everyone recognizes a triangle and a rectangle. Okay? So we're just going to try to find the area of the rectangle first. So go to your formula sheet, find the rectangle, find the formula for area. Got it? Good. Length times width. So the area of this shape is length 10 times 12. The area is 120. That's for the rectangle. What I need you to do now is look at your formula sheet. Do you see the formula for area of a triangle? Good. That formula is 1/2 base times height. Okay? The base of your triangle is right here. Don't get stumped. If this is 10, the base of your triangle is 10. So the area is 1/2 10 times, and this little guy right here just shows you the height. And you put that in, and your area is 1/2 10 times 8, or 0.5 times 10 times 8. 40. Are you done? Absolutely not. You have to take the shape of the rectangle, or the area of the rectangle, and add it to the triangle. And your final answer would be 160 units squared.
Can we pause for a minute, Mr. Santos?
Absolutely.
So I can look and see if we have anyone on the chat.
Absolutely.
All right, we have Logan, Matthew, Anthony, all online, Jaden.
All right, let's give a couple of
Kayla.
shout-outs. Logan, you were fantastic in class today. The next shape you got the area of. Matthew, thank you for watching. Anthony, what's going on, Anthony? Good to see you in here. Jaden Underdew. Mr. Santos, we got Kayla. I got a couple of Kaylas. Kayla, this might be Kayla that sweeps the floors in the afternoon. Good to see you watching. Thank you, thank you. All right, no questions so far, so I'm going to get to the last shape, and then we're going to wrap it up. And Logan, this shape is for you. You did this shape earlier. I was very impressed. The SOL test makers love giving this shape. They'll say something about a basketball key or the free throw lane. What I need to do is recognize, what am I looking at here? So if I was looking for the perimeter, let's take a look. Perimeter, I like looking at R-I-M, rim, the outer edges of this shape. So 6 plus 12 plus 12. Now, so many people are going to want to count this 6 because this is 6. However, it's not on the rim. It's not on the outside. What I'm looking at here, identify this shape. This looks kind of like a circle. It is a half circle. Okay? So we're talking about perimeter. Perimeter of a circle is called circumference. Let's take a look at your formula for circumference of a circle. Circumference is pi times diameter. 3.14 times 6. And that would be, hold on. And so many of you all want to say, great, I'm going to add 6, 12, 12, and 18.84. You would be wrong. That would be a complete circle. So it would include the area inside there. This is a half circle. I can't stress that enough. So I need to take my circumference and take half of that. The circumference of the half circle is 9.42. So I would need to add 6, 12, 12, and 9.42. That would give me 6 plus 12 plus 12 plus 9.42, 39.42 units. Again, if a question asked, how much tape would you need to tape this basketball key, or if I wanted to make a fence around the basketball key, or this shape of a garden, fence, tape, those are all examples of perimeter. The last thing we're going to take a look at right here is the area of this shape. If it said, how much paint would you need to fill in this entire shape? What you would need to do, first, recognize what two shapes am I looking at? I'm looking at a rectangle, so the formula for area of a rectangle is length times width. And I'm looking at a circle, so that would be pi r squared. So let's just do the easy one first. Let's look at the rectangle. The area of this rectangle is 6 times 12. And that would be 72. I'm not done. Remember, we talked in the very first slide about how if this side is 6, this side is 6. 6 is the length of the diameter, meaning the radius is half the diameter. This is 3. Let that sink in for a second. We need that information to fill out our area of the circle. Pi, 3.14 times 3 squared. And I'm just letting you know now, a big mistake, people will put the diameter into their equation. It is not 6, it's 3. Please, as a note, my students know I want to see every step written out. You cannot just tell me 72. I need to see it all. So this is 3.14 times 9. And the area is 28.26. However, just like with the circumference of the circle, this is a half circle. 28.26 represents an entire circle. I don't want the entire circle, I want half. So to get half of this number, I would divide it by 2. The area of the semicircle is 14.13. So we're almost there. You need to take the area of your rectangle and add the area of your half circle. And the area of this composite shape would be 86 13/100 units squared. Folks, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch me find the area and perimeter of some composite shapes this afternoon. Oh, I think we can wrap it up. If you guys want, we can just leave this slide up here. We can just take a look at it. We could identify our missing sides. This is 1, this is 5, this is 3, this is 2, this is 1, this is 2. And like for always, we would find the perimeter by putting a line here and adding the 5 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 5 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. And I'm really thankful I put this line here because I wouldn't have remembered. I would have continued counting sides twice. And when you add all that up, 3, 6, 8, 9, 14, 15, 20, 23, 28. 28 units. And that's just a sneak preview. You will see things like this on the SOL. You will see things like this on your test. I need you to make sure that you are writing everything out, following all the steps that we do. Feel free to pause this video at any time. Come in with questions for me. I really appreciate y'all watching. Good luck. We got a test coming up in a couple of weeks and a quiz on this material Tuesday. Thank y'all so much for watching.